Hello, everybody. We're back with another episode here of the NBA 2K podcast brought to you by myself, RF Ribeiro. You can call me Rib, though. If you don't know already, I am the lead moderator in the NBA 2K subreddit, the My Team subreddit, and all the sister subreddits, and also the Discord subreddit that's connected to the subreddit. So, hello and welcome. Well, we're in the end of July here, and if we look at the date as of me recording this, it is Friday. This will also be uploaded today, Friday the 28th. And, well, that means you may or may not have already seen the picture that brings us the information of what is to come in the month of August. And basically, it says, this is what they're going to show you as we prepare to enter into September, into 2K season. Um, Week of August 14th, the gameplay with ProPLAY. I spoke about ProPLAY in the last podcast. If you want to hear about what I think that involves, you can go and check out the last podcast. The W, which is the WNBA mode, the My NBA mode, the Mamba Moments, which, if you're familiar with the Jordan challenges, you will know that the Mamba Moments are going to be similar. And then after that, my career, the city, my team, and then finally in September, season one, which basically tells us that seasons are coming back. And then it says and more. Now, and more could mean a lot of things. It could mean nothing actually. It could just be a few things here and there. Um, but one thing I do want to point out here as well is that last year we got the courtside reports, aka the dev blogs, in the first few days of August. And in the image last year that they put out to show us everything they were going to talk about in August of last year. There was no mention of any of this, and I will show you here. As you can see, this is last year's, and everything was a lot later, right? Even though throughout August we saw courtside reports and dev blogs, they were never actually mentioned by date of when they were going to be released. And what that tells me is, don't think that just because it says gameplay with ProPlay week of August 14th that we're not going to at least have some sort of dev blog or something to read in the 2 weeks before that in the beginning of August. I could be wrong, of course, but I do strongly believe we will have information to look at even before we're shown actual gameplay with ProPlay. Another thing to mention is that gameplay with ProPlay, the W, My NBA, and the City are for next gen only or new gen only, which means if you're on PlayStation 4, if you're on Xbox One, if you're on PC, you're not going to be able to experience these modes and the technology of ProPlay. So take that as you will. Um, let's see here. Well, with my career, you're going to learn. Actually, let's go from the top here. So, gameplay with ProPlay, I've already said that if you watch the last podcast or listen to the last podcast, I've talked about what I believe ProPlay is. It's a technology that's going to capture in game real life footage and translate it into animations that we can then use in our 2K game. Um, Much like Hypermotion does with FIFA in EA Sports. I don't know for sure if that's what it is. If it's something similar, we'll have to wait and see. The W, if you are interested, you know what it is. It's the WNBA mode, and I guess we're going to learn about the teams and the players that they added, the face scans, maybe. My NBA, a lot of people's favorites. I'm interested to know if it's gonna get any updates because they did update it a little bit last year, and I think they were mostly positive updates. There were some bugs that they still have not fixed, where if you play a lot of my NBA, after a while the game kind of bugs out and gives you, you know, like 60 some year old players still playing for some reason. So hopefully that's something we can see that they've fixed. Mamba moments, you guys know already. If you've played the Jordan challenges, what can you expect? Well, if you think about Kobe's biggest games, you can expect to play as Kobe in those games. You can expect to basically go through all his 5 championships and maybe even play in his retirement game where he scored the was it 61 points, 62 points, over 60 points. Um, that's basically what it's going to be, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun for Kobe fans and fans of those kinds of gameplay moments where real life and gameplay kind of are so close, right, to one another, where you it really feels like you're in there, very immersive. My career, my career stories are usually a hit or a miss, right? You sometimes uh, you really enjoy the story. Other times you just want to skip it. For me personally, in 23, I did a lot of skipping, and it doesn't mean that the story is bad. Of course, if I skipped it, then it doesn't mean that I actually don't know if the story is good or not. But I hope the stuff they show with my career um, is not completely about the story, but more about how the my career will actually be played. Because they did mention, if you guys remember, I talked about this in a YouTube short. Um, the my career mode is not going to be offering quests that you need to complete to be able to play other game modes, or at least they're not going to do that as much. We know that for sure. The words that they used, the NBA 2K, they used streamlined. So my career is going to be a lot more streamlined, which basically means more efficient, easier to get through. So I'm not going to be shocked if the story in my career is not exciting, it's not amazing. Um, I will be surprised and pleasantly so if the my career mode is something we can grind and actually go through it without feeling like it's a chore, and we're getting good VC out of it and good XP. We can grind out our badges, whatever it may be. Uh, so I do hope that streamlined my career actually does mean that we get to make our builds in a lot shorter time with a lot less VC uh, to have to spend. The city, you guys already know. Again, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, that the city is going to be a beachfront city now. So it's still a city, but it's now as a beachfront city. And when you think of beachfront cities, I think personally of a smaller city, at least in comparison to the city we just had in 2K23. Hopefully that's what it is. I think people understand that we're not trying to walk around an entire city doing quests. I'm sure there's a percentage of the population that plays 2K that does enjoy that, but most people are trying to play basketball most of the time and not run around looking for Ronnie, for example. There's one of the quests if you're familiar, if you've done it, one of the quests is you got to find Ronnie throughout the city, and he's never in the same place. He actually moves around, and that's fun if you're playing Pokemon, but probably not as enjoyable if you're playing NBA 2K. But Beachfront City, at least it sounds like it's going to be something nice. I feel like it could be something um, awesome. Maybe they're gonna allow you to play at the beach. Maybe you get to chill at the beach. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. My team, of course, 2K's money maker, the game mode that gets played, I think, the most when you think about a 2K lifespan. I think my team is the mode that gets played the most. Honestly, I miss the little secret cards with the black market. Um, I miss the mystery challenges that there used to be a couple of years ago, where we had to work as a community to try to figure out, what kind of code is in these cards. I hope they somehow incorporate more community events like that into my team. I also hope they stop releasing new cards with the same animations. It's redundant, but it's also weird. I hope we hear from a developer, explain to us why they did that. I don't think we will, but I would love to know what is the reason behind that. Is it just because it's the best animations and they don't want to put bad animations? If that's the case, then there's got to be better animation variations, right? Uh, and I think 2K already does a good job with most of the My Team mode not being pay to win. Although this year they did add a few instances where if you spent $50, you could get, the best card in the game. And I don't like that very much. But for the most part, I'm okay with the My Team mode. I just hope everything they added that it gets updated in a positive way, like um the trophy stuff, the trophy cases. I enjoy that, but maybe it needs to be done a little different. Um, and I think when I say the end game cards are an issue, I think I speak for a lot of people as well. But that'll be exciting to know more about the My Team mode in the end of August, and then in September season one. What can we expect? Well, uh, hopefully better rewards, but it feels like we've been saying this the past few years. Can it be different this year? Of course, it can be different. Um, will it be 40 levels again? I don't know. Uh, Personally, to make seasons, in my opinion, worth it and something to look forward to, there's a few things they could add. Simply adding portions of VC every few levels is one way. Um, Another way is to maybe add a way to gain like a build, if that makes sense. So think about it like this: when you're playing NBA 2K and you spend money on VC to make a build, that VC is gone. Whatever VC you put into whichever attribute, once you press the button, put the VC into that attribute, you buy the attribute basically, and then that's it. Well, what if there was a reward where maybe it gave you a player, and then you can either it gives you a player already made at a certain level, and then you level up the rest your own, or it gives you a player and then it gives you like a set of attributes that you can then put into the player and make it how you want it. So basically, having those sorts of player things and then VC, it comes down to just it's the VC stuff, right? At the end of the day, adding some sort of any form of gaining VC or making it interesting, where we don't have to spend so much money to play the game with different builds. And I don't want to have to go on the subreddit and read stories of people saying they're super depressed, spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on builds, and feeling forced, right? There's a feeling that you get left behind unless you spend VC, unless you buy VC. And I feel like if they added rewards to the season where it incentivized people to play, and you know, you don't get a parrot, you don't get a tiger, you get VC, you get stuff for your player, you get maybe even cool cosmetics like actual brand clothes that people might want. Maybe make it a choice. Do you want Nike shoes? Do you want Adidas shoes? Maybe you have like a pair of each. There's so many ways to make the seasons enjoyable, easily something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be a million VC for completing the season. It could be 500 VC every 5 levels, 1,000, whatever. It doesn't have to be much, and the reason why it doesn't have to be much is because we've never had VC rewards in the season. So uh, that is something to look forward to as well. And then, of course, and more. Well, when you think about 2K, what else could they be talking about? Well, there's the park, right? So they didn't mention the park in that blue image that I showed you with all the dates. They didn't mention Pro Am. They did not mention, the rec. So, of course, a lot of those maybe get jumbled up into just being the city. But I think that blue image thing is very generalized. The all those dates are just like the pinpoint modes, and I do have a feeling, I could be wrong, but I do have a feeling we're going to be learning uh, a lot a lot sooner than we think. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you don't fall for fake information either, because that can happen very easily. And I think in terms of 2K news for this week's podcast, I think that's about all I can let you guys know about. I mean, there's not too much to say about 2K24 as of right now. Um, yeah, so that's about it. Now, if there's anything else to talk about, there is, and you may be aware of what's going on, maybe you're not. So I will let you guys know my opinion on the situation. If you're on Twitter, and if you're a 2K player and you like to read on the 2K community stuff going on around Twitter, you've noticed that there's a lot of it's hard to say that it's the competitive players versus the competitive players versus the sim nation, aka players that use real plays. They use the game's mechanics the way they were meant to be played. I guess if I was going to summarize, it doesn't actually mean the sim nation, but um, there's been a lot of back and forth between uh, these types of people. I don't even want to say these two different communities, because it is so weird that we're all playing the same game and we're trying to make fun of people for playing the game differently or whatever it may be. Uh, so my opinion on this stuff is, look, I I've played a lot of competitive games throughout my life. I grew up playing competitive Call of Duty in the early days. World at War, Modern Warfare 2. I was in a competitive sniper clan, and then I transitioned into Battlefield, and then I played uh, a lot of MMORPGs. And the thing about MMORPGs is there's the grindy, sweaty community that they play the game at a high level. They try to get the best stuff. They know the best moves. They know the best abilities. They know the best of everything there is. And then there's also the more casual community that takes their own time with things. Maybe they don't know as much, but maybe they don't even choose to know as much because they're enjoying the game just the way they're playing it. And uh, I've played Overwatch competitively as well. I've had a team. We've been in a tournament. I've so I've been all over the place in all kinds of different games. And 2K, the 2K community, um, look, there is no right or wrong play style, especially when you look at the 2K League. If you look at the way the 2K League players play, there's not, in my opinion, it's not, there's no cheese being played by the pros. It's about efficiency. There's a lot of efficient moves that they're making, and these efficient moves are efficient because the developers of the game made them so. It doesn't mean that they're hacking the system or cheating the system. They're doing what the game allows them to do. It's not breaking any rules, right? It's not breaking any rules. And basically, in summary, what I'm trying to say is if there are sides in the community over should we play like this or should we play like that, to me, that's more on the development of the game than it is on the communities themselves. Because if the game was developed to only, you can only do the animations one way. There was no other way to do them. This is how you do them. This is the efficient way to do them, and this is just how you do them. Then everybody would do them, and nobody would be complaining because there would be no other way to play the game, and that would be that. But there's a lot of games where there's cheese, and hey, if that's what helps you win the game, and if you like winning the game, you're gonna do those moves if it helps you win the game. It doesn't mean it's the only moves you can do to win the game. And a good example, if you play NHL, EA NHL 23, I own the game. There's a lot of cheesy moves you can do to score the puck. If you play FIFA, you either know the dribble moves or you don't. If you know the dribble moves, you might be able to get out of, situations where if you didn't know the dribble moves, you probably, get tackled, lose the ball, whatever it may be. But the thing with FIFA is knowing how to dribble the ball does not mean it's cheese. It's part of the game actually. And one of my favorite players of all time, Ronaldinho Gaúcho, he used to be the biggest dribble head ever. He didn't win much in terms of, accolades in his career lifetime. He won enough, to gain recognition, but he was never, the best player in the world, but he followed a motto that uh, is called, well, in Portuguese, it's joga bonito, but in English, it means play beautiful. So it's about playing the game in a beautiful way. And that's what he did, right? And he was literally, he was the Allen Iverson of soccer at that time, if that makes sense. Not just the way he looked, but the way he moved the ball around, the things he was doing. Everybody wanted to do the dribbles that Ronaldinho was doing. And all of this to say, look, if there's something wrong with the game, you feel there's something wrong with the game, then that's something you need to speak, in a feedback thread, send it to the developers, let them know that that is not a realistic move. Now, we can't sit here and say that, dribbling is over dribbling or cheese dribbling, whatever it may be. We can't hate on it. And we also can't hate on people trying to play the game the way they think developers develop the game with the animations that they developed and people mocapped and trying to have this rich bag of realistic animations, if you want to call them that. I think the argument for either side, I think the whole thing is silly. I think people do whatever they think is best. If suddenly everybody started winning, you know, stages and just in general winning rec games, park games, pro am games using real life animations, if that is all we saw, then I'm sure that would lead the way, and then the cheesers would be like the minority, and they would be told, you got to play this way if you want to actually win the game. Sure, that could happen, and it wouldn't change anything. It would still be a silly argument. It's very silly. This is all very silly, and I don't even know where I'm going anymore. But I want to bring this all back to gameplay with pro play. Okay, listen, pro play, if it is what I think it is, the animations in this game are going to get a big upgrade. Uh, and I mean animations with the ball primarily are going to get a big upgrade. I'm not saying cheese is going to be gone, but I'm saying the gameplay development is going to be to a point where hopefully we stop having sides and we start trying to play the same game, which is uh, playing NBA, doing the right moves at the right time, knowing the game the best way. We're trying to look, NBA has always been about the simulation, even when there's cheese in the game. The 2K devs have always said that their thing was making the game as real to real life as possible, right? It is supposed to be an NBA simulation game. Gameplay with Pro Play is going to do that. You think about NBA players like Curry, Lillard, Kyrie, Iverson, Jason Williams, Kevin Durant, whichever dribbler, anybody that you can think of that could dribble the ball and put people on the ground. Uh, that's not cheese. That's not cheese, right? Uh, those are moves that if everybody could do them, they would probably do those moves. And I got a feeling, I hope I'm right, but I got a feeling gameplay with pro play is going to deliver on that, on allowing us to have more realistic movements with the ball, which I guess maybe to some is going to look like cheese, but it's just real life. It's going to be, you just have to think that if everybody that wants to be a guard, if they could pick to be exactly like Kyrie, they probably would. Not all of them, a lot of them. Why? Kyrie is fun as hell to watch. Kyrie is he's probably the greatest ball handler of at least our generation, and I just I I just can't see the game um I can't see the game going in a direction where it splits the community even more. And I don't want to blame 2K for splitting the community because the Twitter world is not the majority, right? I'm just speaking about the Twitter world because it's a lot of people. It's been prominent lately. It's been very prominent every day. It's been something, and I wanted to speak about it because I think we all play 2K because we enjoy it, and it doesn't matter if we enjoy it for different reasons. And look, gameplay with pro play, I think there's going to be a lot of people happy, a lot of people upset, but give it time. Give it time. Let it let it sink in for a few days. Um, there's going to be somebody that's going to learn some cheese move, right? And if it's really cheese, if it's something that should be patched, if it's an actual bug, okay, then hopefully it gets patched. But if it's just smart dribbling, smart movement, things that you should be doing anyway if you're a ball handler. We gotta allow it. We gotta embrace it. It's part of the game. Part of the NBA. It's part of 2K moving forward. Okay, this is look gameplay with pro play might be even bigger than crossplay. I might be exaggerating, but I just can't. I can't. I can't think of anything else that pro play might be that isn't just completely awesome. It's gonna be awesome, and hopefully the 2K community can do better um, about how we interact with one another with our different interests. And I don't have to read about how people are talking silly stuff about each other's families and each other's, well beings, and it's just silly. And with that, I hope you guys learned something here. I hope I was able to inform you guys on some news that you may or may not have been aware of, and I hope you take away something from this that you know there's no if we got to be better. It's so toxic out there that it's gonna take a few of us to really care for the community, um and look, sometimes you just have to put the game down, right? Sometimes you just have to take a break. But 2K, I mean, I've been around 2K a long, long time now. And if we're going to be here for more years to come, we need to do better as a community. Because, look, the game is only moving forward. It might be slowly, but it's moving forward, in my opinion. And I think 24 is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to talk to you guys more about anything that comes out that's worthy of me creating a podcast or YouTube shorts or YouTube videos. So stay tuned for all of that. And I'll see you guys on the next one.